Right, hello. I think I'm going to do a video on house plants outside. I'm doing this on the back of the garden tour I just done, and I have got various inverted brackets house plants. Not really no such thing as a house plant, just plants that have been cultivated to tolerate indoor conditions. No plant naturally lives indoors. But anyway, so this is a green Imperial Philodendron, which is put on a huge amount of growth since coming outside. It was quite a neat plant, but since I brought it out, it's got this huge stem. It's starting to come over here, so that's done well. You'll see a theme with most of these that I haven't done the best job at acclimating to the sun, so there's going to be a couple of burns on some of the leaves. But in general, a new growth should be pretty good. So there's a philodendron. I've got a few philodendrons outside. They seem to do quite well. Tolerate, don't really want full sun, but they can tolerate a bit of sun. So here's another philodendron. This is the bipedifolium, or split leaf tree philodendron. And that was a lot of leaves on this at the beginning of the year, or when I brought it out, were quite small like this, and that has pushed out some bigger leaves. It's certainly not harmed at being outside. This actually stayed in the greenhouse all winter, heated greenhouse, but I didn't mind the cooler conditions. So that's another good candidate for a shaded area that gets maybe 3 or 4 hours of sun first thing in the morning. That's all. So we've got an Imperial Red Philodendron here, which is again, since coming out, like the green Imperial, it's really put on some stem and some new leaves. It's pushed out 2 leaves plus a new one coming, so that's done quite well. Obviously I'm not going to include any palms in this. There's a different ball game. They are, obviously I've got some like the Kentia palms and that sort of thing. They are sold as indoor plants, but they do well outside as well. But yeah, we've got the Dracaena here, which again really does appreciate being outside. Has put on a good amount of growth. Just a shame about the slug damage, or that may be caterpillars actually. But yeah, that does quite appreciate a summer holiday in the garden. Crotons you've got to be a little bit careful with. These have been in the conservatory most of the summer, but I'll get them out for the last month or so until the nights start getting cold. They certainly don't mind a bit of good strong light. Right, so Allocations, obviously I've got several in the ground, and this one's I've left in a pot. This is quite a small one, and it's just a little cheap one I got from Wilkinson's for £5, so I thought I'd see how that does outside. It seems to be doing okay. Obviously got a bit of the old leaves died back, but you'd get that anyway. Most colocaceal allocations only hold 3 or 4 decent leaves, so that's a reasonable candidate for outdoor growing. Obviously a lot of you will probably do Caladiums, which are an indoor plant if you like. They do okay outside, but obviously with the cooler nights we get in this country, you're not going to get full growth potential out of them. Right, so looking over here, this is a Allocation Sumo, which is the first time I've actually put one in the ground. And this is one of the more cold hardy allocations, I'd say. Not cold hardy, but do better in cooler conditions and still get a decent growth rate out of it. What's probably not so good a candidate is the Macrorrhiza Allocacia, which is literally done nothing. It's pushed out one little leaf all summer. Another one which is alive but not doing brilliantly. You can see it, there's the Zebrina, Allocacia Zebrina. So it has pushed out 2 leaves over the summer, but not really gained anything from putting that in the ground. It's not took off at all, it's not done anything amazing. So obviously coleus, a lot of people grow them as indoor plants. For me, I'll just buy a mixed pack every year, £1. You get a rainbow mix of seeds, and you know, take your luck at what you get. But, I mean, got some fairly nice ones there, and you know, you get a good variety. And you've also got the option of taking cuttings if you want to take them indoors as houseplants, or collecting the seeds once they've flowered. Right, so let's go down to we've got a Monstera deliciosa here, which is outside. It's doing okay. Obviously we've got a little bit of brown tip in certain places. You know, this is in the shade most of the day. It just gets late afternoon and a little bit of evening sun, but it seems to be tolerating the sun okay. I haven't had any major growth spurts as such, maybe because the new leaves seem to be wanting to open here, but no, in general that's done okay. So there are several houseplants that will do well outdoors for summer. Again, I go back to the Kentia palm. That's a good candidate for outdoors. Well, I guess that's comes from New Caledonia, or you know, island off Australia, where it don't get too hot, don't get too cold. So that's sort of that gets our summer conditions all year round. So that's you know, probably a natural growing environment for that type of palm. So it does well outdoors as long as you don't give it too much sun. So again, this is in shade most of the day. But yeah, they seem to do really well actually. This is a new frond that's opened up, really quite big. I suppose you could say cacti, a lot of people grow them as indoor plants. I've got several in here. You can see there's a little bow cactus there, another one there, and we've got some random types dotted about. So again, with cacti, you know, you can give them as much light as they want, they'll be absolutely fine. What they don't like is wet, especially over winter. Obviously in the summer you can water them as much as you like. I don't tend to water them at all, but in the winter you definitely want to keep them covered. They'll take the cold, but they won't take the wet. So I'll go back to this little cactus bed here. These are all standard cactus you'll find in your shops. These are all little ones I bought, you know, I think I bought about, you normally get them for like £1 or £1.50 each. I think I've got 3 for £5 or something and chucked them in. And so they're either propagations of them or the original plants. So Again, some are still quite small. Got a little gold barrel there. Got one that's absolutely shot up there. With the bunny ears, ones are the notable ones. They seem to go mad. And the Warfare, it's done quite well. You wouldn't think they'd be hardy, but they are, as long as they're kept dry. So yeah, I've got a bit of a random mix, and I think I've only actually lost one out of all the cactus I planted. So yeah, they're a lot harder than you give them credit for, and they'll definitely take winter temperatures as long as they're covered. So you keep the soil dry and keep them dry. I think that's going to do it. We have got, I think I mentioned it in the garden tour, we've got a fiddle leaf fig here which indoors wasn't doing too well, so I brought it out, and since it's come out, it's, you can see the last two leaves indoors were looking terrible. I brought it out and said it'll either die or do well, and that's kicked out two new big leaves, so that seems to enjoy being outside. And then last but not least, the most famous indoor outdoor plant maybe is the aspidistra or cast iron plant. So that's that is in a pot, which I normally just chuck in the unheated greenhouse over winter, but I'm sure that'd probably survive all winter outside, but they'll take a decent amount of sun. But this is pretty much in full shade, that one. That's a decent sized clump, even though the Tetrapanix leaf is covering it. But yeah, so there's a few different house plants that I tend to put outside for the summer. Right, I think we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching.